Without knowing how to draw or work with 3D programs, today I'm going to share with you how you can download for free 3D objects and modify them in a simple way so that you can use them in your projects. In this example, I did download a stand to place under my desk and changed its size so that I could print two different models of two different sizes and place two chargers of different sizes under my desk. I also printed an object, actually three of these, so that I could place two laptops under my desk. But in this particular case, there was no need to change the dimensions. I will be using this printer, which is the Creality High combo with the CFS module that takes 4 different colors if we want to do more complex jobs. I will leave some links down below for the videos that I've shared with you, but you can use any printer. Now, the first step is to go to some websites that we can find 3D models. Now, in my particular case, I use Printables, Thingiverse, Code 3D and Creality Cloud. If you ask, my favorite one is Printables, the one that I use most of the time, but this is something that you will have to try for yourself. In all of them, we will have sections that we can explore to get ideas for useful things. In my particular case, anything related to home automation, mini servers, everyday objects, and other little things that caught my attention, like those that I'm sharing with you. If you already know what you want, it's easier. I had a problem. The USB chargers under my desk were always falling, even with strong double-sided tape or even a Velcro, they ended up falling. So I wanted to put something under my desk to hold them, and that's where I started my search. Now, I believe that we can find this on AliExpress or Amazon, but the size will not be the one that I want. And this is one of the most interesting parts. So after deciding what you want and finding it, you just need to download the object like I did. I will leave links to the ones that I'm using. Here, I did download that stand for under the desk. And since the model comes with the dimensions that it was original design, which is this one right over here, and USB chargers, there are for different sizes. If I had one of this size, I would need to change the dimensions to go to here more or less. And that's what I did. So on my printer's app, I choose to change the measurements. I did measure my smallest USB charger and entered the height, width and length that I wanted in the app. And it's simple as this. Then you just need to send it to the printer, and in about 45 minutes or so, the object will come out. For those of you that are new to the 3D printing topic, this is not like printing a piece of paper, which is just a few seconds. This is a process that will take about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. A rack like this will take about 4 or 5 hours. So my suggestion, what I do myself, is once I decide and take the measures and whatnot, my changes, when I press the print button, I just check if everything is okay in the printer, and that's it. I will just come back after a few hours. Sometimes I even forget it. But once the project is finished, I picked it up, check if the size was good. I was a bit stretched right over there because it ended up a little bit deeper than what I wanted, but that was okay. I made a small cut with a knife so the power cable could pass through, and that's it. I screw it under the desk, and now it doesn't even move. And it's even fitter than what I want, or tighter than what I wanted. And if I want to remove it, it's not that easy, but it's okay because it's something that I just screw and it's going to stay right over there. But if it was something that I wanted to remove and put in every single day, I would need to print it again with a little bit more margin. Then I did the same for the second one, which is bigger than this one. I changed the measurements again and even made some holes in the back to make it easier to cut the area for the power cable, and then send it to print. Another 45 minutes, 50 minutes or so, and the other one was ready as well. I went to place the charger, and this one fit even tighter. Do you believe that? I was taking the measurements so close that it was really tight, but it did fit. I did remove a small piece from the back and it was sorted out. Now, it was just a matter of screwing another 4 screws and placing the charger, making the connection at the back, and that's it. Nice and secure, and it doesn't come out anymore. If I want to remove that one, which is just below here, my desk, I've got one on each end, I will need to unscrew a little bit so that I can remove it because it's so tight. And this whole experience is the thing that makes this worthwhile, but I will explain a little bit better in just a moment. For the double laptop stand, I didn't make any changes at all. I did download it, load it into my printer. I did check out the measurements, and by the measurements that I saw, I thought, okay, it will do just fine. But I did print just one, first of all, and then after trying out here on my laptop, I did print the other two. So we are talking about 1 hour for one of these, plus another 2 hours for two of these. So it's a full morning or an afternoon. So don't be looking at your printer or you will be fed up with it really fast. Then once I finished these three objects, it's just a matter of putting the two screws on each of the supports, and that's it. You can now place the laptops, which in my case, these are two 14-inch laptops. If they were different sizes, I wouldn't be able to use this model. I would probably need to use an individual module, or I would need to make further changes. If the laptop, one of them would be 13 inches more or less, I would be able to make a few changes so that it could be a bit tighter. But probably I would need to do a single laptop and use one right over here and the other one on another area of my desk. Now, one of the things that I would like to share to that side is that, in my opinion, this is not and is by far a way to save money printing objects instead of purchasing them on Amazon or AliExpress or something like that. To me, I see this as a hobby, especially because we have to consider the factor that I will need to purchase one of these printers, and then the plastic is not for free as well. We need to purchase it. So if I'm thinking about the return on my investment, just forget about it. So I see this either on a hobby that I can do a lot of stuff like server hacks or things like I do on a daily basis, and some of them I don't even share because they are so simple. When I want to install a Shelly smart device and I want to put them on the ceiling or somewhere else, I just print the object and put it where I need. So to me, it is a hobby, and that's the way that I feel that for most people will be. On the other hand, if you can see an advantage where besides being an hobby, you can also make some profit out of it if you have free time, then this is a really cool thing that we can think about it. Probably you will need a more expensive printer, a faster printer, but I wouldn't jump to that boat without having the experience of starting out with lower end printer, even slower, but that gives me room to learn. But most importantly is, if we see it as a hobby, then that we have fun like I do printing this kind of objects. And today, the thing that I did share with you is that you don't need any knowledge to create objects, because there are millions of objects that we can freely download and then credit the author, which I'm doing with the links down below. But basically, that is it. Nonetheless, there is a curve of learning with everything in life that I tend to believe that if today I start with 3D printing for my small projects, it is normal that I will be curious and I will search for some tutorials that will teach me on how to draw, how to create from scratch 3D models. And that will give me the chance to look at some of the simplest objects like these right over here, and probably in 2, 3, 4 weeks I will be able to create an object such as this from scratch. And probably after 3 or 4 months I will be able to create this and a lot more, depending on the time that we dedicate for this project. But if it's an hobby like I see it, then in no time you will be able to do a lot more than we have covered today on this video, which is something that I wanted to share with you. Even if we don't know how to touch on a computer, well, not a computer, but even if we don't know what is a 3D program, we can do something like this, change measurements and have our project done. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and if you did so, don't forget the usual thumbs up over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. My name is Roberto, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.